having a really bad day. 3 hours of sleep last night. I'm hurting really bad. Wanted to talk about something that I know nothing about and that I'm really confused about. So I want to talk about weird ear stuff and sleep and hearing and jaw stuff. I have Chiari malformation. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I have sleep apnea. A history of severe insomnia and severe sleep issues. And I'm making this video because I've been wearing this oral device that I made for about, I have no idea, a week and a half, 2 weeks. I'm trying to wear this to move the jaw forward, to open up the airway, to try to breathe at night instead of CPAP, because CPAP is causing me so many health issues. And I'm making this video because when I started wearing this, when I put this in my mouth and I lay down, it's moving my jaw forward and it's opening and closing the ear. There's fluid in my ear, and I don't know if laying down with this in is opening the ear up, is like causing fluid to shut the hearing off, or actually opening it up and making it able for me to hear. But I can feel my hearing go on and off because this is affecting the fluid in my ear. And I don't know if that's in a good way or a bad way. I have Chiari malformation and ear issues, sinus issues, now issues with my eyes. And severe insomnia issues. And this is the part that confuses me. So this is so complicated, and it's almost impossible for me to try to explain it to people because I don't understand myself. So people ask me, when did your sleep issues start? I don't know how to answer that. I can remember back when I was 10 years old, and my mother would call me in the morning. She'd be out in the kitchen, making lunches and stuff. And she would call me, and you shouldn't have to call a kid 100 times to get up for school. And it wasn't about school. Why should a kid be so tired? And then by 15 years old, I remember this, and this may have been going on forever. I noticed I was sleeping like this, and laying on my side and sleeping like this, gently pushing up. And that's not normal. We think we do these quirky little things, but often there's a reason why we're doing weird things. Sometimes we're trying to unconsciously help a problem. And that may have been always going on, I think that's me trying to open my airway. and by shoving up or trying to move the jaw forward, but not understanding that there's an actual mechanical issue. So that was at 15 years old. I remember pushing, always sleeping up with my hands under my jaw or my neck. At 15 years old, I got mono and mononucleosis, Epstein-Barr virus, and I was sleeping 22 hours a day for almost a year. And I would wake up ravenous. I would eat nonstop for 2 hours and watch 4 half-hour sitcoms. I would wake up around supper time and watch 4 half-hour, children's or teen sitcoms, family sitcoms, and then I would go to bed for another 22 hours and wake up the next day at, supper time and eat nonstop and watch those sitcoms. I lived like that. I lived in a dreamland for almost a year because of the mono. I just slept nonstop. And then, insomnia. At 25, I got braces on my teeth. I had already, before 25 years old, I was already asking doctors for help with the sleep, not understanding that there's something like physically wrong. And by 25 years old, I got braces on my teeth. What they did, often people with EDS have a small jaw, too many teeth, crowded teeth, sometimes what appears to look like extra teeth, but they're not extra teeth. It's because you've got so many teeth in a small space. And a small jaw. And what the dentist did, and they shouldn't have done this, they thoughtfully, I'm hearing from an airway specialist dentist online that many orthodontists did this to people my age back then. They thoughtlessly removed a ton of teeth. In my case, they removed 9 teeth, made the jaw smaller, moved the jaw back with elastics, and my sleep got worse, but I didn't understand the connection. But when those braces were on, my sleep got worse like immediately, and because my jaw was being messed with. I already had a narrow space in here. See, it took me a lifetime to put these pieces together. It took me until now for me to figure this all out. I already had airway issues and shoving up before, and I was completely unaware of this. When they put the braces on, my sleep got worse, but I didn't make the connection. And I've got doctors telling me it's anxiety, it's trauma, it's this, it's that. I knew they were wrong, but I didn't know what or how. I didn't know what was happening. And I'm being talked into more and more medications, right? They're telling me this is, a mental health issue, and I knew it wasn't. But I had no knowledge. And by 25, I was desperate for help with the sleep. And now I'm sleepwalking, I'm sleep eating from the sleep medications, but I don't make that connection. Doctors should have known. I was sleepwalking and sleep eating for decades from the sleep medications. I had a child at 30. I was brain injured from the epidural. I came home brain injured, so sleep deprived, I've got a new baby now. I am so severely sleep deprived, and everybody thinks it's just from having a baby, a new baby. Everyone thinks I'm sleep deprived because I have a new baby that wakes every few hours. And that wasn't the case at all. Desperately sleep deprived, undiagnosed sleep apnea, sleepwalking, sleep eating from the medications, a small airway, difficulty breathing, severe insomnia. And now I've got a baby that's waking every couple hours. Like just literal torture. I was a zombie. I wasn't a zombie, but I was a nervous wreck and just 100% exhausted, depleted. You're doing laundry. You're just so much laundry with a new baby. You're just sleepwalking and sleep eating, and oh my God. And my husband too was falling apart from sleep deprivation. But, you know, I had medical issues going on that were undiagnosed. And let's see, how old would I have been? 30, maybe 45 when they found my Chiari malformation. Didn't really tell me what it was. Sinus issues, jaw. A surgeon did surgery on my sinuses that has caused just chronic pain since the surgery 13 years ago. And just worsening insomnia. And so, like, you know, I had, you know, like 20 years ago, I was sleeping 4 hours a night for years. 15 years ago, sleeping 5 hours a night, or 3 hours a night for years. Then around 2018, no, 2016, 2015, 2016, I was experiencing hearing loss. Most of my hearing was gone for almost 2 years. And I was sleeping 3 hours a night, really suffering bad, and just researching and reading and not understanding why I don't sleep. And then I had this hearing loss. And then during this hearing loss, I started sleeping around the clock for 18 hours a day. So this might be, this might be a big key of what's going on here that nobody has clued into, or maybe we don't have a specialist here that knows about this. So how can you go from sleeping, and I'm on all these sleep medications, how can you go from you're sleeping 3 hours a night, you're on all these sleep drugs, but you're sleeping 3 hours a night, you're suffering like a dog, and then your hearing's gone, and now you're sleeping 18 hours a day. How can that happen? There's something bigger going on. And then, after 2 years of hearing loss, and after a year of sleeping around the clock, 18 hours a day, and I'm talking, I'll have to do another video.